everyone. I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi.
And I'm Rich Nation, and this is Shell Point Today for Monday, April the 20th.
On today's show, we discuss a Health Connections presentation about arterial disease with Dr. J.T. Jarrard, and Dan Philgreen will talk with Shell Point resident Pat Specht about performances that are all part of tomorrow's variety show.
Also, Dan will join forces with Resort Wellness Manager Heather Battey to host the variety show, and if you've missed their promotion piece, don't worry. You'll get to sing along with them again today.
But first, we want to remind you of the dining outing at Bonita Springs Wilds Cafe tonight. Modern American cuisine created by 3 local chefs will be served in their elegant dining room that surrounds you with works from local artists. The cost of the outing is $8 with dinner on your own. Court pickups begin at 4 p.m. on the island with an 8 p.m. approximate return time.
To be or not to be, the famous Shakespearean line from Hamlet could apply here, but instead of to be, it's more like to do. To do or not to do, that is the question when it comes to vaccinations. To help with that answer, pharmacist Yal Adu Sarkodie will hold a presentation tomorrow about the positive and negative effects and important medical principles behind vaccines. The presentation will begin at 10:15 in the Social Center on the island, and sign-up is required.
The Legacy Foundation invites you to a financial seminar on Wednesday. The Next Investment Paradigm, Behavioral Finance, will be the topic in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands, beginning at 10 a.m. You can RSVP for the event by calling 466-8484.
Well, if you don't know by now that there's a variety show tomorrow night at the Village Church, then where have you been? We've been promoting it all weekend. But just in case you haven't gotten enough of that Surfin' USA tune from Dan and Heather, we're going to show it to you again.
If everybody had an ocean across the USA, then everybody'd be surfing like California. You see them wearing their baggies, Warachi sandals too, a bushy blonde hairdo, surfing USA.
Hey everybody, I'm Daisy and this is my dorky brother Morty. It's almost summer and we're heading to the shore for a trip down memory lane. So join us on Tuesday evening as we surf on down to the Village Church for some summertime memories. Sing along with some summer tunes, laugh out loud at funny stories, and enjoy a parade of summertime acts performed by Shell Point residents and staff. It's the Summertime Memories variety show you don't want to miss. See you Tuesday at 7:15.
Surfing USA. Everybody's going surfing USA.
If all that jumping around with Heather and Dan has you feeling, well, pain in the joints, you might be interested in this Thursday's Health Connections presentation on peripheral arterial disease. PAD, as it is called, can limit someone's ability to enjoy activities by causing significant and sometimes debilitating pain. Dr. J.T. Jarrard is a local specialist who cares about those with this condition, and he's happy to address the issue with Shell Point. Heather Battey is standing by with more.
Hi, I'm Heather Battey, Resort Services and Wellness Manager. I'd like to tell you about a presentation on peripheral arterial disease that will be presented by Senior Vascular Technologist J.T. Jarrard. He will discuss how this disease can limit one's ability to enjoy activities by causing significant and sometimes debilitating pain. We spoke with him recently at his office at Vein Specialists of Fort Myers.
As a registered vascular technologist, my job here is to use non-invasive ultrasound to evaluate vascular disease, both vein disease and arterial disease. My job is to evaluate the condition of the disease, stratify the disease for the physician so that they know at what time do we do treatment and how aggressive treatment should be for each individual patient, and also to provide a report to a physician letting them know the information that was obtained from the ultrasound, gathering from the disease process of the veins and/or arteries, so that they have everything that they need in order to be able to treat effectively and treat appropriately and timely. A patient typically will come through a consultation process. They can come to vein specialists and vascular diagnostics through electronic vein screenings or vascular screenings or in-house screenings that we do. The process of those screenings are to evaluate the patients and determine their need for vascular evaluation. Once they do, a patient is given a non-invasive ultrasound, at which time they're placed in a safe and comfortable environment, and using no radiation, no needles or dyes or anything like that, just using sound waves and the patient's natural blood flow, we're able to determine how obstructed their veins and arteries may be, and if those veins and arteries are efficient or not. If they're not flowing in the most efficient manner, then the information provided from the ultrasound will tell the vascular surgeon by what means they would need to improve that flow, either by means of conservative therapy or medication, or through procedures that may be required. Once a patient has treatment for vascular disease, then they will typically follow back up with us depending on what procedure that they had for further evaluation. One, to ensure that the procedure was a successful procedure. Also, to ensure that there is no other evidence of underlying vascular disease that may cause complications or problems from healing in the future. And also, if the patient had chronic vascular disease that may not have been treated by the procedure itself, it helps the physician determine how soon in the future do we need to follow back up with them as well. It's a very simple procedure. It's not a complicated process. Probably the hardest thing for patients is knowing that those procedures and that those evaluations are out there. Many patients are walking around suffering. They don't know why they're suffering, or they don't know what to do about it. And at Vein Specialists and Vascular Diagnostics, we've taken it upon ourselves not just to treat the patients that come in our door, but also to reach out and educate and inform patients about vascular disease so that they can make informed decisions about themselves, and they can also pass along that information to friends and family that may be suffering as well. The lecture that I'll be presenting is on peripheral arterial disease, or PAD as it's commonly known. This is a disease of the arteries of the legs and the arms, and it is due to atherosclerosis of those vessels, which is commonly seen in patients that have risk factors such as high cholesterol, high blood pressure. There may be a family history of this condition. Patients with heart conditions are prone to peripheral arterial disease as well. And this is a disease that can limit someone's ability to enjoy an active daily lifestyle, because what it does is it restricts the blood flow to the muscles of the extremities. And when you're out there being active, playing tennis, playing golf, playing pickleball, or any of those activities that we enjoy in sunny Southwest Florida, then the muscles require that fresh oxygenated blood to be able to function. And when they do not get that blood, then the arms and the legs tend to develop pain as they become more active, and will only cease when they stop that activity. A healthy active lifestyle is not only good for weight loss and emotional support and things like that as well, but it's important that they have good, adequate circulation to their tissues, because you can suffer tissue loss and tissue damage if a condition such as peripheral arterial disease progresses and continues for too long. So the point of this lecture is to offer patients the information about a condition that they may be suffering from that they're not aware of, and how they would go about seeking evaluation and treatment, which is the evaluation is non-invasive and the treatment these days is minimally invasive in most cases. And in some cases it may just be defining the disease and following the disease and not doing any treatment at this time, but just being aware that they have it, so if they develop further complications later on, then they have a place to go to and a source to follow up on.
Dr. Jarrard's presentation will be in the Social Center at 10:15 this Thursday. Sign up is required, so please make sure to join us for this interesting presentation. I'm Heather Battey, and I hope you have a wonderful and healthy day.
Well, you know, Mary Kay, I just can't get enough of that Surfin' USA song from Dan and Heather. Maybe we could play it one more time?
Why don't we hold off on that and instead talk about some of the other music that will be at tomorrow's variety show, okay? Dan spoke with one of the variety show participants recently about the song they will be performing together at the event, as well as other things to expect this year. Here's Dan Philgreen with Pat.
Pat?
I think so too.
I think it's pretty good.
I think we'll make it.
Absolutely. Hey, we're just practicing a little bit for tomorrow night's variety show. And, you know, Pat Specht here you've been in the show how many years? A long time.
I think 5 or 6 times,
and
believe it or not.
Fun, isn't it? It's always a great time.
It's just so much fun.
Last year we had Scott and Mary running around down Route 66 in a cardboard car.
Right,
Always good
remember
to have a cardboard car. And let's see, the year before that.
Was that the Blues?
That was the Blues Brothers.
Brothers?
Jared and I were the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, I remember that.
I worked up some dance moves, you know. Not much of a dancer, but I managed to get a little in there.
You did well. Yeah.
You know, and speaking of dancing, we always have the dance groups like the line dancers.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. And
we do.
then this
so
year
good.
it's the Latin size for the first time.
Yeah, well, that's right.
So, you know, they're going to cut a rug up there.
Absolutely.
So, Pat, what is it like, you know, to be part of the show?
Well, it's really fun, and I really enjoy seeing the employees do their thing. I remember Larry Foes and his wife, and I think I've probably watched his daughter grow up. I mean, you know, they're. I hope they're in there this year. Are they?
Larry and Marge are. I'm not sure if they're. I think their daughter might be too.
Their daughter
I think she might be busy now.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But that's always fun, you know, and it's kind of nice to see the residents. There's a lot of talent out here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And let's see what else we. Oh, we had the
50s.
The 50s.
The 50s. I remember that because Jarrard came to us and said, first she came to me and said, Pat, I want you to do Fever. And I thought, me do Fever? I was scared to death, but it was so much fun.
That was fun, wasn't it? And then we had Hee Haw. That was a lot of fun too. Yeah.
That was fun too.
Well, anyway, so this time, if you've all been watching the promo, it's obviously all about summer. Yeah. There's going to be some hijinks going on, some foolishness, and
I'm sure.
You'll get to see the side of Heather Battey, our new resort services manager that you haven't seen before.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and I play. Well, I won't give away too many secrets.
He's got a starring role.
And it's not just music. We've got some dramatic readings.
Good.
David Hauenstein's going to do a little radio thing.
Good.
Paul Peterson's always good for a few laughs.
He's
funny.
He's funny.
So we're going to have him again.
Yeah. Oh, and you know that men's quartet, they're always so good. Yeah. They must practice an awful lot, Dan.
And they'll be back.
They're so good. And let me see, what else?
And Yvonne Schneff.
She's going to do Summertime, which is one of my favorite songs.
Perfect song for the show.
Absolutely. So it ought to be a fun show. It really should be.
Fun night. So, you know, it is going to be a great night. Come on out tomorrow night at the Village Church, 7:15 for the can't get the name right. So it is going to be a great night. Come on out tomorrow night, 7:15 at the Village Church for the Summertime Memories Variety Show. Hey, Pat, let's run that song one more time. What do you say?
Yeah, we can use it. I believe in music. Oh, I love this song. I believe in love. I believe in music. I believe in love. I believe in love.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, menus, and Village Church connections, right after this important Listening to the Words preview from David Hauenstein.
This week of Earth Day and Arbor Day, Listening to the Words starts with the descriptive words of Shell Point landscape manager Steve Morton, doing a walkabout on the Australian trees growing in Florida. You'll enjoy Marianne Bennett's reading of a nature-based excerpt from Where the Pennyroyal Grew in the Country of the Pointed Firs of Maine. Then your taste buds will be tantalized by a delicious description of veggies by a dedicated organic gardener. The other theme of the program would be the ideas and antics of children. For instance, a recently discovered book of stories and poems written by a Shell Point resident includes a poem asking, God to guard the boy and guide him, I pray, and give his dear folks lots of energy each day. I think you'll get a kick out of a piece about a lad who thinks his biblical finding will ensure he gets to drive the family car. Also, a linguist takes us on a rollicking romp through a passel of olden days imaginative expressions like knee-high to a grasshopper. All that and more on this week's Channel 12 Listening to the Words program, repeating twice each hour, today through Sunday. Those who can't pick up Channel 12 here at Shell Point, including Shell Pointers who will be up north for the summer, can listen to all the Listening to the Words programs at www.shellpoint.net/listening.
Welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and this is Caitlin Van Scoy, and we're going to go over the activities that we offer for you here at Shell Point today. We're going to start our lineup at 8 o'clock with the men's match play doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. At 8:45, we have virtual bowling in the Resident Activity Center. We have billiards in the Resident Activity Center at 9:15. Also at 9:15, the Lollygaggers paddlers will be heading out from the Kayak storage facility. And our last 9:15 activity is pottery. That's with instruction available down in the pottery studio in the tunnel. Men's match play doubles tennis will be at 10 o'clock at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And our Susie Q boat heads out at 10 as well. They're going to Matanzas on the Bay. Sign up is required for those trips. At 10:30, Disciple Men's Study Group will be at the game room of the Woodlands. We're going to go to 10:45 with the table tennis clinic down in the Tarpon room. We have a Health Connections class at 11:30, specifics in cardio conditioning, and that's in the Health Club, and it's currently full. Well, that concludes the morning. Here is Caitlin for your afternoon lineup.
Thank you, Bev. Our first afternoon activity is Mahjong at 12 o'clock. That'll be in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. At 1:15, we have advanced table tennis in the Tarpon Room. Samba, the card game, will be played at 1:15 in the Resident Activity Center. And from 1:30 to 3:30 today, the Model Train Room will be open for complimentary tours and viewing. And that's down in the Island Tunnel. At 1:45, we have a Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1. That's in the Health Club, and that's currently full. The Beady-Eyed Bead Club will be meeting at 2 o'clock in the Oak Room of the Woodlands. And another Health Connections class at 3 o'clock, Pilates Stretch in the Health Club. 3:30 is the time for another Health Connections class, Aqua, Agility, and Conditioning at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. And at 4 o'clock, we have dining in Bonita Springs at Wild's Cafe. The pickups begin at 4 o'clock Island, 4:10 Woodlands, and 4:20 Eagles Preserve and Estuary. You do need to sign up for that trip. 4 o'clock is the time for pickleball, the pickleball courts. And at 5:30, we have the singles table available at the Crystal Dining Room, and you do need to make a reservation. 6:30 is the time for duplicate bridge in the game room of the Woodlands. And our last activity is square dancing in the health club at 7 o'clock. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for tomorrow's activities.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is beef lasagna with Italian green beans and garlic bread. The dinner special is Old Home Cooking Night for $11.95, and the soup of the day is split pea. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a mushroom Swiss burger with fries for $7.25. The dinner special is a grilled chicken and pineapple slaw panini with fried zucchini for $8.25. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey, an assistant pastor. In some of our western states like New Mexico, you can drive for mile after mile through beautiful desert. Each little hill or bend in the road opens up a vast panorama of scenery under brilliant skies. But there is danger there. When approaching some of these vast stretches of open road, the traveler will see signs reading, "Fill up here, last exit for 50 miles, or 75 miles, even 100 miles. The cautious traveler fills up with gas whether he needs it or not. A friend of mine crossed this area some time ago, long before the cell phone era. He filled up and drove 110 miles before the next exit. How awful it would be, he thought. How awful to run out of gas in the middle of nowhere. Whatever would one do? Now and again he saw a car or a truck, but it was dreadfully lonely out there. There were no houses, let alone gas stations. In the little town at the end of the long stretch, however, he learned that there were desert angels, men who made a mission out of helping stranded motorists. They would ride the highway in their old pickup trucks, equipped with jerry cans of gasoline, ready to help the distressed motorist who might have overlooked the sign. Desert angels indeed. One day another couple was crossing this vast area. Deep in conversation as they began the long, lonely stretch, they totally missed the signs. It was a worst-case scenario, and sure enough, about halfway across the 100-mile stretch, the engine died. They had run out of gas. The wife began to cry. They had visions of being stranded for the night, being robbed, even dying there. What could they do? Eventually, they noticed in their rear-view mirror an old pickup truck on the horizon behind them. Rather than speed past them, it gradually slowed down and pulled off onto the side of the road right behind them. The couple was terrified. They had heard how unprincipled bandits sometimes took advantage of stranded travelers, robbing them or molesting them. So they waited, motionless, for the attack, scared to even get out of their car. But, to their amazement, the driver of the pickup truck didn't move. He just waited and watched. After a long time, they could stand the stalemate no longer. Perhaps the driver of the pickup didn't want to harm them after all. Perhaps there was someone they could trust. They decided to take the initiative. As the wife stayed glued to her seat, The husband slowly opened his door and walked cautiously towards the pickup, his hands out of his pockets. As he did so, the driver of the pickup leaned out of his window and asked, "What's the problem, friend? Need some gas?" It was a desert angel. Not wanting to frighten them, the desert angel had learned not to thrust himself on people. They might be armed and aggressive. They might not want help. Rather, he just made himself quietly available and waited until those in need took the initiative. And that's how it is with our desert angel. God makes himself quietly available, and he waits for us to take the initiative. He has all we need to get us to our destination, but he waits for us to approach him and ask for help. He doesn't impose himself. "Call upon the Lord while he is near," urged the prophet Isaiah. "Whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be saved," explained the Apostle Paul. Now is the day of salvation. And Jesus himself said, "Come to me. Come to me and you'll recover your life." You can trust the desert angel. Why not invite him to help you today? And thank you for tuning in to Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us on today's program. Watch tomorrow as we travel to the Island Cafe to check out what's fresh from the oven. And we'll also take in another golfing tip from Gary Keating.
Hey, Mary, what about some more of that Surfing USA song, eh?
Okay, so maybe we'll show the variety show promo again from Dan and Heather one more time.
Surfing USA.
Until then, I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi, and this is Rich Nation for Shell Point Today. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.